Even though the policies were sound, objections to them blossomed like ragweed. So, even though the policies were sound, that's a subordinate clause. It can't stand alone as a sentence. It begins with a subordinating conjunction, even though. And that means that on the top line, the main clause there, objections to them blossomed like ragweed. So let's get our baseline. And we have objections is the simple subject. What blossomed? Objections to them. Objections. Which objections? Objections to them. That would be the policies. It's the antecedent of that pronoun. And what did the objections do? They blossomed. And how did they blossom? They blossomed like ragweed. So preposition like, object of the preposition is ragweed. So even though is our subordinating conjunction. So let's look at what this baseline of the subordinate clause would be. So what were sound? The policies. So policies is the simple subject. Which policies? The policies. Were. So there's our verb. The test for transitivity is the three-word question, what got, and then the past participle of the main verb. The main verb here is the only verb is were. That's a form of to be. The past participle is been. So the test for transitivity yields the question, what gets been? And of course, that's impossible. And that tells you that the verb to be can't ever take a direct object. It can't ever be transitive. And indeed, here it is linking or copulative. And what we are going to get is a subjective complement. Sound is an adjective in this sentence, and so it's just going to sit on the baseline as a subjective complement. And here we have what we do with subordinate clauses. Say under what conditions, or it's why did the objections blossom, or under what conditions, even though the policies were sound. So our subordinating conjunction goes there. Sometimes they make it go up, sometimes they make it go down, even though. The policies were sound, objections to them blossomed like ragweed. And of course, because this is adverbial, that's adverbial, the sentence could be moved around. Objections to the policy blossomed like ragweed, even though they were sound. So you can move it around, and that, as usual, is a sign of adverbial phrases or clauses. So as far as prepositional phrases or nominal phrases, so we've got, if we break off the diagram there, next to objections, the nominal phrase objections to them. That's one nominal phrase, and here the policies is the other nominal phrase. There are no more nominal phrases. Ragweed is not the head of a nominal phrase because there's nothing coming off of it. It does not have any modifiers. As far as prepositional phrases go, we have, again, if we broke off the diagram there, before the preposition, we'd have to them, which is modifying objections. Which objections? Objections to them. So that's adjectival. And here, if we broke off that piece of the diagram, that before the preposition like, we'd have like ragweed, and that's answering the question blossomed how. Like ragweed, that's how, and that's adverbial.